Ambassador Q&A. We're just going to start off by introducing ourselves a little bit, and then we'll get into some of your questions. Thank you so much for joining us. So I'm Kaylin Edwards. I'm a biology major on campus. I'm a junior. A little bit about what I'm involved in outside of academics. I am a student ambassador, so I give campus tours, just like everyone else here in this Q&A. I'm also involved with Greek Life, the women's mentoring program, and some intramural sports.
Hi, everyone. My name's Luke. I am a senior mechanical engineering major. I'm staying for co-terminal masters as well. Outside of being an ambassador, I do research here on campus. I'm a TA for the computer-aided design course. I'm part of Rensselaer Music Association, and I used to be a part of Destination Imagination and Engineers Without Borders.
Hi guys, my name is Kate, and I'm a sophomore biomedical engineering major. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And yeah, besides being an ambassador, I'm involved in Greek Life. I do undergrad research, and I'm also involved in the Society of Women Engineers, and I used to be a part of the dance team. So if anyone has questions about those, you can ask.
Hi guys, I'm also Kate. I am a fourth year architecture student here, which means I have one more year left. When I am not being an admissions ambassador, I also work for the School of Architecture Woodshop, and I occasionally play the trombone in the pep band. And I'm also getting my minor in psychology, so I can answer some questions about that as well.
Hi guys, my name is Nick. I'm a senior civil engineering student from Newton, Massachusetts. Besides being a student ambassador, I'm involved in Greek Life on campus. I play a lot of intramural sports, and then I was also part of pep band for my first 2 years here. Awesome.
So we'll kind of get the ball rolling for all you a bit. We have just a list of questions we've previously gotten from students that we'll start off by answering until everyone warms up a little bit and starts asking their own questions in the chat box. But one of the questions we commonly get is, what is your favorite part about RPI in general as a student? I'd say my favorite part about RPI is the people, honestly. I think RPI is a pretty rigorous school academically, but everyone that I've met at RPI is more than willing to help you out and is super supportive. It's not a cutthroat environment or super competitive environment at all, which is something that I really enjoy a lot. So by far, the people I've met at RPI is definitely one of my favorite aspects.
So for me, I agree with Kaylin. That's definitely high on my list. But just to add variety to these answers, I really like the opportunities that are available here. RPI is really strong with research, with co-op and internship opportunities. We have a lot of connections, a lot of different classes, a lot of different types of majors, especially within engineering and science, but also just all across the board. So if you really take advantage of all the opportunities here, you'll really have gotten, you will have done a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both Kaylin and Luke. There is a huge supportive community here at RPI. I feel like everyone helps each other out and definitely not cutthroat at all, which is one of my favorite parts of the school. I feel like I can ask anyone for help whenever I need it. And also what Luke was saying, the opportunities are endless. I was able to get involved in undergrad research this semester, and I'm so excited to move forward with it. And RPI.
I'm going to give a very architecture answer. I really love the way the campus looks. I think it's a really beautiful place to walk around in, and all of the buildings are really nice. Specifically, being in our major, we have the Experimental Media and Performing Arts Center, or MPAC, which is directly on campus, that we often use as a case study. It was built in 2008 by a really big firm, and we have all of the plans for it. So right now, my elevator in my building is based off of MPAC's, and having that as a resource on campus is really nice. And it's also just a really nice place to be able to walk around between classes, after classes, that sort of thing.
I was also going to say the people, but instead I'll say the music resources. So I'm getting my minor in music performance, and so I've been able to study music, take a lot of music theory classes, participate in orchestra, and that's given me a lot of cool opportunities, like playing at Carnegie Hall and playing in the MPAC Concert Hall, which are both really nice concert halls. And so it's given me something to, take my mind off of engineering every day, participate in music, whether it's through classes or also through Rensselaer Music Association.
Perfect. So it looks like we have our first question here, which is awesome. The question is it necessary to have a printer in your room? Personally, I didn't have a printer in my room my freshman year, or honestly any year. You get a sort of an allowance of printer money, I guess, per semester, so you can use the printers on campus. There's pretty much a printer in every academic building on our campus, as well as in like our student union and our residential halls as well have printers. So really anywhere you need to print, you'll find one, and it's only like 30 cents per page or something like that. Most of the assignments I've personally turned in are usually on our learning management system online. A lot of printing I've had to do in the past has really been just for my different lab courses that I've taken when I've had to document things throughout the semester, or even printing I've had to do for some research. But otherwise, I'd say you're pretty safe without a printer. It's kind of personal preference. I don't know if anyone else wants to weigh in on that maybe has a printer.
Yeah, I agree with your answer. You definitely have space in your dorm room for it if you have one, but you don't need it. My roommate freshman year even brought a 3D printer that he built. So pretty crazy. You're allowed to bring a lot of those different things. Obviously, we do have some restrictions for safety, but yeah, you absolutely don't need it.
Okay, awesome. So just looking at some of the other questions here. So Kate, it looks like this one, Kate Cribb, this question is for you. I'm the student's also going to be an architecture major and was wondering if the Lenovo ThinkPad programs are necessary for the major.
Sure. So typically for the architecture department, we go towards the Dells, so the slightly more FD laptops. I have seen people use Lenovo's, but sometimes they get a little bogged down. They're more likely to need more maintenance because we do have a lot of softwares that we use. So typically we would say go for the Dell. It'll pay off in the end for sure. And there's also another question right before hers that was about architecture. Can I answer that too, Kayla?
Go for it. Yeah. Thanks, Kate.
So yes, for sure, you can get your bachelor's in architecture and do your co-term and do lots of activities on campus. So I didn't mention this before, but I have been involved with the players as well. They're a really good group to be involved with, especially as an architecture major, because sometimes some semesters are a little lighter than others. And you can kind of come and go with the players. You can join for a semester and do that play and maybe not do the next one, and that's fine. And then I'm not personally in a sorority, but almost all of my friends are. So you can definitely be involved in Greek life and be an architecture student, and it's fun. I also have a lot of friends on varsity teams. So I have a varsity tennis player. She's been an architect the entire time, and now she's the captain of the tennis team. So I think a lot of people think it's a lot more work than you're capable of doing, but you absolutely are. You just kind of have to develop time management skills early on.
Perfect. Thank you, Kate. So next question here. What are meal plans like? Does anyone want to start off with that one?
Yeah, so our meal plan is based on the swipe system. So you sign up for a meal plan with a certain allotment of swipes per week. For freshmen, you can choose between 15, 19, 21, and 23 meal swipes a week. And so you can use those at all of the dining halls, and it's basically all you can eat. You just go swipe in with the attendant, and then you can stay as long as you want, eat as much as you want. You can also use them for like Sage to Go at one of our dining halls, so you can get like a bag lunch that you can go eat in class. And then you also get Flex. So Flex is like Monopoly spending money. You can spend it at like 16 different restaurants on campus or like cafes. And so it's great if you're out and about on campus taking class and you don't have time to get a full meal. You can use your Flex.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick. Someone also asked if you have 23 meals a week and don't use up all the meals that week, can they carry over to next week? Unfortunately not. The meal swipes reset every week. Your flex dollars will carry over though between the fall and the spring semester, which is pretty nice though. I'm thinking about this real quick.
Kaylin, your audio is a little in and out.
Can you hear me better now?
If you don't mind refreshing.
Yeah, I'll refresh. You guys want to just hang on.
Yeah, so as Kaylin was saying,
all right.
Your flex dollars do roll over from the fall into the spring semester, or for summer arch from the summer into the fall or the spring semester, depending on when your away semester is. It just doesn't roll over year to year. So if you're going from a sophomore to a junior, you're not going to get any leftover flex from your sophomore year.
Can you hear me better now, guys?
Yeah.
At least I can.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Nick. So next question, what is Troy like for students? Even though downtown Troy is technically a city, I think in my opinion, it feels a bit more like more of a small college town environment. There's a lot of local restaurants down there. My favorite part about downtown Troy is that there's very few chain restaurants, a lot of local coffee shops, restaurants as well. So really just a lot of kind of neat places that you won't find anywhere else that are unique to downtown Troy. There's also a lot of pretty cool history down there as well. We also put on a farmer's market every Saturday right along River Street. It moves inside during the winter, so it's a nice year-round event. Pretty popular activity for students to do on Saturday mornings as well. Does anyone else want to add any personal stories or anything about Troy?
I really like how easy it is to get downtown. Like, we're really close. Your freshman year, you can't have a car, but there's also shuttles that go down there. It's like a 5-minute ride, or if you have upperclassmen friends, they can also give you a ride down there. And I love going there, like during the weekends, during finals week. Like, it's really nice to just get off campus and go to a coffee shop and just kind of take a break from what you're like used to all the time, and just like try out a new place. And there's always like new restaurants and cafes opening up, so it's definitely one of my favorite things to do, just get off campus and go downtown.
Yeah, I'd also add my fraternity house is in downtown Troy, so I lived there my sophomore and my junior year, and so it was really manageable to be able to get up to campus for class every day. Like, even those days where you oversleep and you wake up 5 minutes before class starts, you're not going to be as late as you think you are. And we students really do have a great impact on the downtown community. Like, living down there, we'd always have our neighbors coming up to us talking about how school's going and saying, what good we're doing for the community. So they really feel the economic, benefits of that. And it's just a really great community with lots of restaurants, lots of things to do.
Perfect. Thank you, Kate and Nick. So next question here. What is dorm life like? I can say I lived in Hall my freshman year, right on Freshman Hill. You're required to live on campus both your freshman and sophomore year, as well as the summer that you're here for summer arch. Honestly, I had a very positive experience living within the residential halls and the dorms on campus. I think my favorite part was living on Freshman Hill, just because you're living with your entire cohort. Everyone's kind of in the same boat, wanting to make new friends at the same time, meeting new people, and it's really easy to do so. I can tell you, freshman year, for the first 2 to 3 weeks of the semester, everyone keeps their doors open for the most part during the day, and you can just kind of walk on into anyone's room and introduce yourself to other people on the hall or other people you're living with within your residential hall. It's super easy just to walk out of your residential hall and over to Commons Dining Hall. It's all really central and right there, which is really great. So you kind of have access to a whole new group of friends really easily just by living together. I can say that I lived in just a standard double setup, so I had one roommate. It worked out well for me. I did have some friends that lived in Barton Hall that had 2 roommates and then some suite mates on the other side. So it is kind of just your personal preference. But yeah, it's really great just to be able to walk down the hall and knock on your friend's door and just grab some food or hang out or watch some TV or that kind of thing. So I really enjoyed, especially freshman year, living within the residential halls.
And to add to that, when you become an upperclassman, as was mentioned,
does anyone else want to add anything about just living on campus? Or?
My audio working? Okay. Yeah, so to add to that.
Okay, I think I'll start with that question.
Okay.
Let's see.
Kaylin, you might need to refresh, or do I need to refresh? You guys
Is
can all
the
hear me,
Dell
right?
computer offered as an upgrade option that we can pay the difference for from the Lenovo computer that will be provided for us? Personally, I'm not too sure about that. Does anyone else have any insight on the Dell computer upgrade?
Kaylin, can you hear us? Yeah, you
Yes,
just couldn't
can
hear
you hear
Luke
me?
for a little while, so we wanted to make sure that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Luke.
It's all good. Can you hear me now?
Oh.
Take that as a no.
Can you guys hear Luke?
Yeah, we can hear Luke.
Okay, I can't. So whenever he turns green, I just won't interrupt him.
Okay.
Sorry, Luke.
I
It's
think
all good.
Ariana said that she's going to be sending out, or admissions will be sending out information on laptops. It sounds like it might be a little bit different than the way that we had it. I know for us, we didn't get like a standard set laptop at a base price. We kind of got 4 options and everything cost money. But it sounds like now that might be different. I'm not sure. We'll see. I think they'll be sending out information very soon about that.
Kaylin, can you hear me now out of curiosity? Okay, all right. I tried
I'm
refreshing.
sorry,
No,
Luke.
it's good. Nick, your screen's black for me, so I can't see anything. So maybe you need to refresh as well. I don't know.
I'll try.
Oh, I can't hear you either. I can see your thing turning green, but
Okay, while Nick's trying to work that out, we'll keep moving here. Is it possible to get an on-campus job in admissions starting spring semester of your freshman year? Yes, absolutely. That's actually when I started working at admissions. The earliest we'll take new applicants to work at our admissions office is actually the spring semester of your freshman year. We really encourage you guys to get involved. It's really rewarding and a lot of fun to be able to give back to students that are going through something that you previously went through. And I can speak, I think, for everyone here that you make a lot of great new friends as well that I think we really would never have met each other any other way if we didn't work together. So definitely, I encourage you all to apply. How much of a commitment is playing an intramural sport? So I've played I'd say a handful of intramural sports on campus. It's really the lowest commitment you can have in terms of athletics on campus. Usually you have 1 game per week, and that's about it. I mean, you put your team together. Usually it's just a group of friends. I know some fraternities will put groups together or teams together. I've played some intramural sports through my sorority as well. But essentially, no practice or anything like that, just that 1 game a week, usually just for an hour or so. Very, I'd say, low time commitment. It's really nice to be able to just stay active and maybe play a sport that you played in high school or try something completely new. So, Nick, I know you mentioned you played some intramurals. Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just add it's almost no time commitment. I think the most I've played in the semester is like 7 intramural sports in the semester. And so there's 2 seasons for each semester. There's like an indoor season and an outdoor season. So there will be different sports during those. So if you know that you're going to be really busy during the end of the semester, then you can play more during the beginning. And my fraternity definitely would make a lot of intramural teams. And so we just have like a bunch of people sign up, like 20 people sign up. And so then it's even less commitment because you know that, you don't have to go in order for your team to not forfeit. So it's really fun to be able to make a lot of teams with different friend groups as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. So we have a couple questions about the dorm rooms and living as a freshman. So someone asked, is it possible to dorm in a single room freshman year? And just in general, what are the rooms like for freshmen? Does someone want to take that?
I can describe it a bit. So you have the option, you definitely have the option of living in a single. Most people live in doubles. Like I lived in a double in Cary Hall on Freshman Hill, and there's also options for living in a triple. And the way it works is pretty much it's like the sooner you put down your deposit and you actually commit to RPI, then you can rank your choices for your halls and whatever like dorm you want to be in. So it's kind of like first come first serve, and the sooner So like you basically can like get your top choices the sooner you like commit to RPI. And there's definitely options for singles. We have many halls where you can get a single. But I would say for the most part, people within doubles, and there's doubles with so there are like bathrooms that are shared. So it's like male and female bathrooms on one floor. So there's like all guys on one side, all girls on the other side. And then you can also have options for living in a triple where you would share a bathroom with your suite mates. So there's a lot of different options, and you can always go on rpi.rooms to like read more about it.
Great. Thank you, Kate. So next question, is a bike beneficial for campus life? Personally, I brought my bike my freshman year. I used it a handful of times. It gets a little bit more challenging once the snow starts to fall and winter hits. We do have bike racks within all of our residential halls, in the basement as well as outside of all the residential halls. I'd say if you're looking for some outdoor activity, I would definitely bring it. But we do have a decent amount of hills and stairs on campus, so I don't think I'd go as far to say that it's a bikeable campus per se. Definitely a very walkable campus. I think more of a sort of skateboard, hoverboard, scooter would serve you a little bit better. It's a little less cumbersome as well if you are looking to kind of get around on wheels. But like I said, I walk everywhere essentially on campus and really don't have any problems with it. I think the only time I would have wanted a bike on campus was over the summer when I was up in Troy for summer arch, just because it was nice out and sunny, and I was a little bit more inclined to go biking just for fun. But does anyone else have any biking, I guess, experiences they wanted to share? Okay. So next question, what does the class registration process look like? Does anyone want to take that one?
Sure. So the way it works is somewhere in the middle of the semester, you'll get a time ticket for when your time is to register, and this will depend on if you're a senior, you'll have an earlier registration time. If you have AP credit, you might be a little bit ahead of the rest of your class, and you have about 2 weeks, sometimes more, between when you receive your time ticket and when you actually register for classes. So during those 2 weeks, you get to meet with your advisors. There are a lot of resources online for just scheduling your classes to see how it all fits together. So you have plenty of time to figure it out. And for the most part, there really isn't too many issues. Sometimes you don't get into every single section you want, but usually you get into all the classes you need, especially within your major. And if you have issues, there are ways to get around it, such as a wait list for classes, things like that. So yeah, does anyone else have anything to add?
Yeah, I can say thanks, Luke. Honestly, I've never had really too many issues with registering for classes. There's been a couple times, like Luke mentioned, I didn't get the exact section I wanted. But I don't think that registration is kind of like, what you hear about at the big state schools where you get pushed out of a lot of classes you want to take. It's really doable to get on a wait list for certain courses. A lot of times within the first couple weeks of every semester, a lot of students are dropping and adding courses, and there's a lot of movement there. So just because you don't have your perfect schedule going into the semester doesn't mean that you can't adjust it and change it within the first couple weeks. So next question. Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, I would also add that it's usually helpful to make a plan of what courses you want to take which semester, and then also rely on your academic advisor or your hub advisor, just because it can get a little bit confusing. I know this semester I had some troubles with my classes because one course that I already took changed names, and so I registered for that thinking it was a totally different class, and it turned out it wasn't. So I had a little bit of difficulty late adding a class. So definitely leaning on your academic or hub advisor.
Yeah, and also I wanted to add, your advisor will also help you with your 4-year plan, which is kind of it gets you prepared for registration. So you make sure that you're taking all the right classes every semester. You're on time to graduate, because I know sometimes it can get overwhelming. Like you don't know exactly what class to take, but if you go to your advisor, and they're definitely going to help you create a plan for exactly what classes you'll take every semester, so that you'll be ready for registration and you'll have no issues.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. So next question, do we know anything about gender-neutral freshman housing? Personally, I'm not too knowledgeable on our gender-neutral housing, other than I know that we have it. Does anyone else have any insight on that?
I mean, I think
Sorry
it's
about
something
that.
as a school that we're, implementing more recently. So since we're all sort of upperclassmen, it's becoming more and more prominent, more and more prominent option freshman year. So that's probably why we don't have all the answers. But as Kaylin said, there are definitely options for that.
I think if you have any specific questions about that, I would just contact our Student Living and Learning office. If you're struggling to find them online, definitely just reach out to admissions here, and we can help direct you in the right sort of direction for that. But so next question, how can you get information about clubs? So that's a good question. We actually have a student activities fair at the beginning of every fall semester. So our 250 plus clubs all pile into our armory, which is connected to our Mueller Center gym on campus. And everyone just kind of sets up a table, and you can go around and talk to all of our different clubs and get a feel for what everyone does on campus. Sign up for their email lists as well. You'll kind of lose track of all the email lists you sign up for from all the clubs until you check your inbox, and everything is just flooded from all these clubs, which is not a bad thing. It's super easy to get involved that way as well. But I think the activities fair at the beginning of the fall semester, especially as a freshman, is a really great way to initially get involved. You can absolutely join any club on campus regardless of your year. You don't have to, just be a freshman or anything like that. It's never too late to get involved in different clubs or try something new. Does anyone want to talk about anything with clubs? Okay. Can everyone hear me still, just to double check? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Do you have to be going for a music major or minor to participate in orchestra or the pep band?
Yeah, so you do not have to be going for a music major or minor to participate in either one. So pep band is a music club, so it's not for credit or anything. It's just a club part of the Rensselaer Music Association. And so you don't have to audition for that. You can just show up. It's really great to get involved in that. They play at all the men's and women's home hockey games, all the football games, and then they'll also travel with a lot of our athletic teams as well. I definitely really enjoyed it when I was involved. With orchestra, audition information goes out over the summer in like the class of 2024 Facebook group, and so you can get information on like preparing the required audition pieces and like any scales or anything that you have to do. The auditions aren't overly competitive. It does kind of depend on your instrument. So if you're going for like trumpet or flute where there's not as many seats, then maybe you'll want to be a little bit more prepared. But like there's usually a lot of openings in our string section. But yeah, you don't have to be going for a major or a minor. Long story short.
And to add to that, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm also part of Rensselaer Music Association, but I'm part of it in a little bit of a different way. What I did freshman year, so I played drums, and I met people right away who play guitar and bass. So we just started a band, and we joined RMA as a small group. So the way the small groups work is we get access to practice space, recording equipment. There's a small groups concert once a semester. So there's a range of ways you can be participating in music here, from a very formal way, like Nick was saying, or even more with a minor or major, plus a very informal way like me.
Great. Thanks, Nick and Luke. So moving along here, what advice do you have on the meal plans? I realize it's a personal decision. However, is it worth getting less meal swipes and more flex dollars? Like you mentioned, I think it is a pretty personal choice. I can say that if you really like drinking coffee or are more of a, I guess, a frequent snacker, I would go more towards the flex dollar side of things, because you'll be spending a lot of your flex at different cafes within our lecture halls and around campus. Alternatively, though, all of our sort of grab and go food options from our Father's Marketplace in the Union and our pizza place or burger place in the Union also accepts your flex and Panera bread as well. So if you're looking for more, I guess, of that variety of food, I would go more towards the flex side. But personally, I always liked having a little bit more meal swipes. I think it was just a little bit more convenient, at least for me, my freshman year, just to walk over to Commons and swipe in. And there's always a lot to choose from within Commons Dining Hall and all of our dining halls across campus. So I think that was just personally a little bit easier for me, but again, it's completely up to you. You do have a little bit of a grace period, which is good news. So the meal plan you pick is not like completely locked in. Our dining programs give you the first week or so of the semester to adjust your meal plan, so you're not like stuck if it's not working out for you. They give you time to kind of get your schedule set and figure out what works best in terms of dining.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing. For me personally, I had 15 meal swipes and then like 500 flex dollars for the entire year. So it's so $250 per semester. But again, if there's money left over, it can roll over to the next semester. And personally, that was the best choice for me because, like Kaylin said, it's like if you like snacking, coffee, things like that. Like for me, that was kind of my go-to. So like I definitely wanted more flex, and you also have the option of adding more. So if you like run out of flex, you can add money to your RAD account, so you can like keep like so you can like have so you can have money to spend on like in like coffee shop, but like cafes and things like that. So for me personally, that was like a better option for me.